Once again, orbiting spy eyes may have blown the lid off Washington's so-called surprise plans for Iran. As satellite images go viral, the Pentagon's stealth jets and warships look anything but invisible. With around 66 combat jets packed into a single Jordanian base, questions are growing over whether the US will attack. 2 supercarriers, a wall of warships, and tens of thousands of troops now form a floating fortress on Iran's doorstep. With US assets mapped from space, analysts warn Iran now has a clearer picture of which regional bases to hit first if war breaks out. New satellite images reveal a dramatic surge in American air power across the region, just as tensions with Iran reach a dangerous new high. According to the Financial Times, the US has quietly expanded its jet deployments across key air bases in Jordan and Saudi Arabia, tightening the military ring around Iran. At Muwaffaq Salti Air Base in Jordan, satellite and flight tracking data show the number of American aircraft has surged sharply in just a few weeks. Independent defense trackers cited by the Financial Times estimate that at least 66 US fighter jets are now packed into this single Jordanian base. The buildup reportedly includes F-35 stealth fighters alongside F-15 strike aircraft and A-10 attack jets, signaling a force designed for both air dominance and sustained strikes. Aircraft on ships, 90-plus strike aircraft are now loaded on US warships in the region, turning the fleet into a roaming airbase at sea. Fighter attack jets, dozens of F-35s, F-16s, F-15E, A-10s and AV-8s are forward deployed, giving Washington massive firepower for both air dominance and ground attack. Long-range US bombers remain on call within reach of the Middle East, ready to join the fight even without fresh deployments. Support aircraft, E-3 AWACS radar planes and more than 20 refueling tankers knit this entire force together, guiding missions and keeping jets in the air for hours. Electronic warfare jets and heavy cargo aircraft have also been spotted in new satellite images, signaling preparations for a long and complex air campaign. Saudi Arabia's Prince Sultan Air Base has likewise seen a visible jump in US transport and support aircraft activity in recent days. Analysts say these combined deployments amount to one of the largest American military buildups in the region since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. 2 powerful carrier strike groups, led by the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Gerald R. Ford, have now reinforced the US naval presence near Iran. In all, about 16 warships and roughly 40,000 US troops are believed to be positioned across the wider Middle East theater. This escalation comes just days after China's MizarVision satellites publicly exposed US Air Force assets at Prince Sultan Air Base on February 19. Donald Trump warned that Tehran has, at most, 15 days to accept strict new limits on its nuclear program or face what he called bad things and potentially serious consequences.
You said today on Iran, bad things will happen if Iran doesn't make
really bad things.
What will that be?
I'm not going to talk to you about that.
Okay, can you explain though, what is the goal if there is a U.S. military
Well, we're
strike?
going to make a deal or we're going to get a deal one way or the other.
But with a military strike, is it to wipe out their nuclear program?
I'm not going to talk to you about that, but we're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
And you said today 10 days. You've given them a deadline firm to make a deal?
I would think that would be enough time, 10, 15 days, pretty much maximum.
He cautioned that if Iran refuses to strike a nuclear deal within the deadline, it will face serious consequences, including the possibility of direct US military action. Defense analysts warn that any US strike on Iran would likely blend long-range bombers with waves of fighter jets in tightly coordinated attacks. Such operations are designed to simultaneously cripple Iran's air defenses, hit its nuclear facilities, and smash key military infrastructure in the opening hours of a conflict. Douglas Beer-Key, the executive director at Mitchell Institute of Aerospace Studies, said, and I quote, "Most strikes would involve a combination of bombers and fighters to attack targets, suppress enemy defenses and protect the aircraft strike packages," unquote. Fighter aircraft could also be tasked with guarding US bases and ships, providing defensive cover against any retaliatory missile or drone strikes launched by Iran or its allies. Iran's Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, has meanwhile signaled that Tehran remains open to negotiations, pointing to possible upcoming nuclear talks in Geneva as a way to defuse the crisis. We managed to reach a general agreement on a number of guiding principles, based on which we will move forward from now on, and start working on text for a possible agreement. This does not mean that we can quickly reach an agreement, but at least the path has started. We hope that this is done as soon as possible, and we are ready to spend enough time on it. Nevertheless, when you reach the stage to put together a text, things becomes more difficult and detailed. Good progress was made compared to the previous meeting, and now there is a clear path ahead of us, and I consider this a positive point. It was agreed that both sides start working on the text for a possible agreement, and then exchange the drafts and decide on a date for the third round. Tehran says it is working on a written proposal that it claims will balance and address the core concerns of both Washington and Iran in the nuclear talks. Iranian officials maintain that there is no need for any further military escalation in the region, arguing that a negotiated agreement is still achievable. The White House has so far declined to confirm whether high-level negotiations with Iran will actually go ahead later this week. Diplomacy now hangs in the balance, as the unprecedented U.S. military buildup starkly highlights just how fragile the region's geopolitical stability has become.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.